We Are Wrestling.
We Are Wrestling.
Don, D-O-N?
Dick, got it.
Make sure to subscribe, baby.
We are wrestling.
What is up? We are Wrestling Maniacs out there worldwide. I'm the host with the most, the best one, Donnie, here with...
What is going on, everybody? Danny Huckins here, man. 1/3 of We Are Wrestling. We got the Asian sensation over here. Ben, what is going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Ben here, the third host of We Are Wrestling. How you guys doing tonight? We got another good show. We got some interesting things to talk about. Before we do that, Don, what's going on?
We got quite some very good news this week in the wrestling community that we get to cover on the 35th episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk
Holy
Show.
Shit.
35.
Damn.
Wow, that's like monumental, man.
We're getting there. We're on the road to 50, baby. But if you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, and you're not a part of the thousands of subscribers, the best way to support us is by hitting that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications, videos be coming out of nowhere like an RKO, and of course you already know, the grind is real. And before we get into our first topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, we want to advertise a show coming up in our area in Worcester, Mass. at, the White Eagle. Beyond Wrestling is putting together this WrestleFull event, and We Are Wrestling will be in the house on Friday, December 30th, for the WrestleFull with Blitzkrieg Pro. You already know We Are Wrestling. We have a great relationship with them. We go to their shows, we do vlogs, and we have sponsored matches, which we always upload to the We Are Wrestling channel. And we have a special match we're going to be sponsoring, and it is former WWE NXT superstar Anthony Green, who is August Gray, versus former AEW superstar Alan Angel 5. We're going to be sponsoring that match on December 30th. If you can't make it to Worcester, recommend you to get a subscription to IWTV, where you can watch it live while we're there.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a good time.
Oh, Blitzkrieg, it's always a good time. And there's something so different about Blitzkrieg Pro than like all these other independent promotions. And I'm very happy that We Are Wrestling. We have a great working relationship with them.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely, man.
So, getting into our first topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, there has been reports going on all over, wrestling Twitter and Facebook and all, wrestling right now.
Wherever you can find it.
William Regal is set to make his WWE return. It looks like there's different reports out there. There's some reports saying that Regal has signed a 1-year deal. There's, reports that he signed a 3-year deal, but he has like a backing out option after his first year.
The opt-out?
The opt-out option. So there are different, scenarios with William Regal, but all signs are pointing to WWE with a backstage role. How do you guys feel about this?
I think it's great, man. Regal has a son in NXT. I don't know how active he is. I'm not like really a viewer of NXT.
Yeah.
But I think it's great, and here's why I think it's great. Especially with the draft possibly happening after WrestleMania, I think Raw and SmackDown need to have GMs. When they go back to the draft, they need to go back to the origins of the draft. To where each commissioner comes out,
came in
they pick out names or whatever, see who's going to be going to the roster. The last several years, they've been just, pretty much doing it on the website, maybe having a draft pick here and there on Raw and SmackDown. Doesn't really have the same meaning. So I would love for Regal to come back and be the GM of either Raw or SmackDown. I think it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, if he happens to come back, man. I honestly got to agree with you on that. I really do miss the original GMs. This is why I feel like I never really got over with Adam Pearce that much. Like, he is a great wrestler.
Or
before,
Sonya
he
Deville.
retired. Or Sonya
Yeah,
Deville.
he
I
was
could not get over any of that. I miss the old
Yeah, he was a
GMs.
huge. He was huge on
Like-
NWA, right? Adam Pierce.
Adam
Yeah,
Pierce,
he was very huge on NWA.
He's had a long wrestling career of
Before
his
Billy
own.
Corgan took over and ruined it. But with that being said, I feel like, with the GMs, like, we need to go back, and I believe we did a whole episode on this on the We Are Wrestling Talk show, talking
think
about
we
Eric
did.
Bischoff, Teddy Long, Vicky Guerrero. Like, we need to go back to those times where, like, the GMs, they have character. And I think that's why I never really enjoyed Sonya and Adam Pierce. And I feel like we really need to go back to that. And honestly,
William Regal was the
would be
GM.
perfect.
He was
that.
the GM back in 2001.
Dude,
so
I'm telling you
you
this
know.
right now.
And NXT,
This-
too.
This makes me so excited for the draft specifically because now that the roster's starting to fill up again and we're starting to get a lot of returns, we're starting to get a lot of, people stacked on the roster. Yeah, I agree. We do need GMs, and William Regal would game change the shit out of it. So don't just give him a fucking backstage role, dude. Throw him in front of a fucking camera. I would honestly love it that when the Bloodline broke up, that Paul Heyman becomes a fucking general manager. Like, I would love Paul Heyman and William Regal. That'd be fucking amazing.
I don't know.
That'd
I
be
never
fucking
really
amazing for me.
enjoyed. I never enjoyed Paul Heyman really that much as
I
like
love Paul Heyman.
authority role. As an authority role, manager, I've always enjoyed his manager role.
I liked Paul
But as
Heyman
an
when he
authority,
was.
I wasn't really a fan.
I like Paul Heyman when he was the commentary. Remember when
yes, a
during
commentator.
the Alliance.
Yes,
The
He
I
was
do remember
really
that.
good.
Yeah, he was, dude. Well, Paul Heyman just belongs on a fucking mic. That's his home,
Yeah.
bro. That dude
That is
belongs
his
on a mic and in front of a fucking camera. Like anything Paul Heyman touches usually is fucking gold. So,
But
I
like
still
when you
stand
have
by it. So
when you have a guy like William Regal, you got to utilize him. I mean,
he's a genius.
people like him are so far
He's a
in
fucking
between. You know
genius.
what I mean?
There is
There's not many
nobody.
people.
There's nobody more knowledgeable. Nobody.
one of the biggest wrestling minds out there, really, right in
Yeah.
today's
Brilliant.
generation.
And I know people are going to be upset that, people were, thinking that William Regal was going to be with MJF and stuff like that. But MJF has been such a star on his own. He doesn't need William Regal.
He doesn't fucking
So,
need a mouthpiece
Regal
for anybody.
Regal
Speaking-
definitely needs to go somewhere to where he can be utilized to where, maybe they do need
And it's
him
not
somewhere.
just the name.
Speaking of AEW, I do want to, give my thoughts about this because in case you
Do it
guys,
up.
know, I always, I've been an day one AEW fan, and you guys know I always praise AEW, but I also call them out on the bullshit.
They were giving us
And-
good stuff when Vince was giving us fucking horse shit.
Exactly. And with that being said, I gotta give AEW credit where it's due. Because
Mhm.
I know there's lots of, toxic wrestling fans going
Oh,
off about this
yeah.
whole thing, saying,
Oh,
AEW misused Regal, this and that. I'm
thought
going to
he
be
did
the
fine.
one. I'm going to be the one to say this. I think if there was any talent that AEW took from WWE and they utilized him,
Regal.
was William Regal. They brought this man in, to be a part of the
Dude,
Blackpool Combat
Regal
Club.
did fine. He did fine.
And, here's the thing that makes me very passionate about this because I've seen so much criticism about Regal's booking in AEW,
Mhm.
and that's why I'm going to speak on this right now. So they brought Regal into AEW to be a part of the Blackpool Combat Club. We all
Yeah.
know John Moxley, Bryan Danielson don't need William Regal, just like right now Roman doesn't need Paul, but it gives them that better presentation.
Precisely.
But there is one guy I think a lot of people are really throwing under the rug that really needs to be discussed,
Wheeler
and that
Yuta?
is Wheeler Yuta. Because this man was
Absolutely.
a joke on Best Friends. I
Oh.
remember, Danny, me and you
Fucking
earlier in the
horrible,
year.
bro.
Me and you earlier in the year were doing these AEW Dynamite reviews, and I would go off on Wheeler Yuta. But, this is the thing, a lot of people are forgetting. William Regal really took him under his wing and established a star in Wheeler Yuta. And he's gotten way better and more comfortable on camera, and now, pretty much people know him.
William
not
Regal brings
just-
out the best in people.
He's not just the, independent guy. He's an AEW star now.
Yeah.
And with William Regal, what I really liked was they utilized him, to his full potential within this year, and I think they did absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And if there was a better way to write him off of TV, it's exactly what they did on Wednesday with
Oh, dude,
MJF
fantastic.
surprisingly hitting him with the brass knucks, because you know something? They always say, like, in, like, old school wrestling that, you know, you always pass the torch on to somebody, and I think William Regal,
Hot take, man.
hold on real quick before you give your hot take. He passed the torch to MJF when he gave him those brass knuckles.
Mm-hmm.
And that was absolutely perfect. All right, now you
And
can get on
here's
with
my
your
hot take. We're getting the part 2 to that in WWE. Calling it. We're gonna get the follow-up in WWE. Calling
Could
it.
be a possibility, but I love
Calling
that.
it.
I love how
Hot
in this
take.
story between MJF and Regal really started
Mark
with,
my fucking
you
words.
know, the email or whatever. You know, that was like the big basis of the story when Regal first came out or whatever, and MJF. You know, they had that promo back and forth, and then
Great
he hits
promo, by the way.
The way it was amazing.
this past week he hits Regal with the brass knucks, and then he recites the email in his own words, and it pretty much solidifies like almost a temporary ending to the story.
Yeah.
The way they did it was fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. So we are going to
Fantastic.
get the follow-up in WWE. I swear to God. I swear on everything.
The bidding war
that
of
we are gonna get it.
2024.
And I
And you
gotta
already
say,
know that he is on their radar. He is on their fucking radar.
and that's the thing I really have to say about this whole thing, was it would have been really cool to see MJF with Regal because of the presentation, but they really made this work because MJF now has even more heat.
It
Because
was the perfect person
he
to
was getting
do
a
it.
lot of cheers from the crowd, and when he did that, he showed the serious side of him, which, you know, we need.
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of those. This is probably going to
And-
be one of the greatest heel championship runs in our generation that we are.
And this is opening. This is
And
opening
definitely
up a
one of the
story.
best in AEW for sure.
This is opening up a story between MJF and Danielson. You know those guys are gonna have fucking
long
bangers.
term.
And
Oh yeah.
when Regal was knocked out, MJF walked away in the crowd. Danielson came out from the trainer's office, bro. He had one boot on. He had like fucking like no shirt on. And then it showed them putting him in the ambulance and Danielson going with him. So it adds even more heat on MJF and adds more to the story when they finally lock horns. So it's
couldn't have
bro,
wrote somebody off on TV better.
everything
Better than
about
what friggin'
the
Impact did
blood
with
in his
Eric
mouth,
Young.
bro. The blood in Regal's mouth. It almost seemed like he was having like some kind of like internal bleeding or something like what's wrong with his neck or something. Just
The
the whole
commentator
thing.
sold that amazingly too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I
Bro,
do not like Excalibur that much, but he did a fantastic job selling it.
I'm growing on him. I just don't care for
You
the
just
mask.
got to take the mask off.
But
Yeah.
this entire story, I'm glad to see it end because of how it ended. And again, MJF is one of those stars. He doesn't need somebody like Regal. Regal needs to go somewhere to where he's needed. I think he
He's
came to
done everything he
AEW.
could.
WWE's home, man.
He came to AEW, did what he had to do, helped a lot there, and he's riding off into the sunset, and he's gonna be helping other guys in NXT and WWE get to that next level, just like he did for Will Yuta, and I love it.
It's all about timing, and the timing for Regal in AEW, that timeline from making his debut at Revolution to MJF hitting him with the brass knucks, that was absolutely executed perfectly. And in wrestling, timing is everything.
Yep.
So to all those critics out there that are saying, oh, AEW misused him, this and that, you need to stop throwing what he did under the rug, because Regal did a really good job, because the Blackpool Combat Club would not be what it was without William Regal.
If it wasn't for Regal, Will Yuta would be wrestling on Dark or something like that, not Showcase, not doing nothing.
Yeah.
You'd be jobbing.
So I love it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. I hope it's not just the backstage role, though. Regal has so much left to offer to the business. And even if he does, I understand like him not wanting to travel that much. But like, even if he does like, you know, Raw every Monday, he have the rest of the fucking week off, not have to do shit. You know,
Here's something I will say. When it comes to his run in NXT as GM and his being the manager of Blackpool Combat Club, personally, I enjoyed William Regal's 1-year run with AEW more than his GM run in NXT, because he really didn't do much. And if, you know, he does come back to WWE on roll, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I would not mind seeing William Regal be a manager to somebody. And that person,
Maybe
I
down the
think
line.
that would be great with William Regal, Pete Dunne.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that would be a great pairing.
Imagine William Regal with Karrion Kross because they
Mm-mm.
have history with NXT.
You never know. Maybe it's all
Maybe.
fantasy booking.
Fantasy booking, man. The possibilities are endless. I'm looking forward to this. People just need to, stop jumping the gun before it actually happens.
Stop comparing AEW to WWE already. Just enjoy the product. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Whoopee. See, like Ben doesn't watch AEW, but he's not being a toxic freaking fangirl about it.
He watched that fly on MJF's shoulder, though.
I caught both that. I caught that shit, and you guys watch it on the regular. I was watching a beautiful fucking promo happening, and then all of a sudden I catch this fly in my glimpse, and it's just there until he drops the title. I'm like, damn, so it really was garbage.
I feel like you were observing more because you don't watch regularly, so you have like the 20/20 vision to where you're looking at everything. Me and Donnie aren't really like that because we watch every week, so we know kind of what to expect. Never expect a fly to fly, land on MJF though.
That's why
it was
just
got some good
chilling.
eyes for that.
It was just chilling on his shoulder the entire promo until he dropped the fucking old title off, like right outside of the ring. And I'm like, okay.
I would have laughed if it was a mechanical fly because him saying
that's beautifully done if that's the case.
Him saying that AEW title is a piece of trash and throwing it, and then immediately the fly just flies away.
Yeah, dude. It was weird. It was the weirdest thing I've ever caught in pro wrestling history, but it was so significant with that moment. So it's just like, you know what?
What about
This is
that
honestly
bat on
God's
Monday
word.
Night Raw?
His suit was fresh too.
What about that bat on Monday Night Raw a couple years ago that was flying around ringside?
That was fresh. That's heat, bro. That's fire
heat,
television. That's fire television.
I think it was chasing one of the women. I think it was Zelina Vega. It was somebody.
I think so, something like that. Yeah.
But yeah, man, William Regal to WWE, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's imminent.
It's gonna be phenomenal.
It's
I just
inevitable.
hope I know backstage they're gonna utilize him, but if he comes on screen,
bro,
please utilize
dude,
him. Like,
he needs to be the GM.
Listen, you do not welcome William Regal back and not show him on TV ever. That's not gonna happen. You're gonna see him in some capacity in front of the
night
camera.
after Mania. That's when he'll make his TV debut.
Bro, I can't wait until
Thanks
the
to
Raw
Triple
after Mania.
H.
I think he'll come back before
I've got me
WrestleMania,
job back.
Hey, we'll have to wait and see. But
The Raw's 30th anniversary show is in January
True.
in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, his contract, he's a free agent in January too. So
Who knows, man? It's all
Exactly.
speculation, but I'm looking forward to it. All right, Donnie, what's next on the fucking agenda?
bruh.
So, our next topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, there's another name in Triple H's, WWE vision
On
that
his
he wants to bring back to
checklist.
WWE.
His
and that
bucket
is
list.
Eric Young. He just got
Whoever-
written off of Impact this week with
Got
getting
stabbed
murdered.
by
And now
Cody Deaner.
there are speculations from PW Insider that Eric Young will be coming back to WWE.
Bro,
All right, you
How do
guys take it
feel
away.
about this?
It is
guys
so
take it
weird.
away.
Yeah, it's gonna be short and sweet because I don't watch Impact. I don't know what he's been doing. The
I
last
have
time
no idea who
the
he
last
is.
time I saw Eric Young was when he was Insanity on SmackDown. Back a couple years ago.
Oh, that's Eric Young?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. So that's what I know him from then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I know him from.
But it's so weird, Donnie, when you were like, he was written off Impact. He was murdered. It's just murder and pro wrestling should never be in the same sentence ever.
Well, Impact Wrestling, this is why
Especially
they're in the
after
position
07.
that they are.
Jesus.
And
Especially
this is
after
why
Owen Hart.
people don't have access to Access TV. And maybe it's a good thing for all of us, wrestling fans out there.
Yeah, so
glad I didn't watch that segment.
I gotta admit, I've been a fan of Eric Young, back when he was in Impact, and his WWE run was kind of mediocre at best. Wasn't that big of a fan of Sanity. It's almost like they didn't know which way to book him, and I kind of understand why, because it was Vince McMahon booking him and not necessarily Triple H. From when Sanity came up from NXT. But I gotta admit, man, this was like this was so out of left field. I did not see Eric Young ever coming back to WWE just because I don't think he was that big of a game changer. You know what I mean? It's just there's certain guys that you can picture coming back to the company, and then there's guys that are like never in a billion years, bro. And that has to be Eric Young for me. Like no disrespect to him, it's just I definitely didn't see it. This came out of left field.
Mm-hmm. I was very surprised by this because, of course, Eric Young went on, I believe it was Chris Van Vliet's, podcast, and he actually, went off about WWE and actually told Vince McMahon that he failed as a leader, which was, a very big, thing for, Eric Young to say. And he was really misused. I remember after Sanity broke up, he was, being a jobber and doing stuff for the 24/7 title until, they released him. Went back to Impact, had a great run. He was doing this thing called with Violent by Design, which was a pretty cool faction, similar to Sanity, but not as good. And he won the Impact title, and, that's all I remember. And then he lost it, and then I just stopped paying attention. But with Eric Young coming back to WWE, definitely left field for me. And I wonder what Triple H is going to do. I feel like Eric Young's going to probably be a producer, I think.
What if they set Sanity back up together?
Oh my God. Somebody on my stream mentioned that tonight, and I was kind of like, no, don't let it happen. Just because it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't really accomplish anything. And you have to remember, like, there's a lot of tag teams that are in WWE now, especially since, Triple H has been rehiring, going through the rehiring process, bringing a lot of these guys back. But you don't want to have too many tag teams because for another 5-6 months, the tag titles are going to be tied up with the Usos. So you have all these tag teams and they have nothing to fight for. You know what I mean?
Well, I think once the brand split happens and the Usos lose the titles, then we're really gonna start seeing the tag teams.
Yeah, but dude, that's not for another 5 months. So I don't think you should bring any more tag teams into the company until there's a championship for them to fight for. You know what I mean?
I do see like one feud that Eric Young will have when he comes back.
I see Eric Young maybe being on TV. But I see him being a trainer at the Performance Center.
That's what I see.
The dude knows his way around the ring. I will say that he's very good athletically. It's just his booking is mediocre.
100%. Like his best booking in his wrestling career, it was back in like 2016 when he was doing like the World Class Maniac stuff with Impact, and he had the great feud with Kurt Angle, I remember, and he had a really good run around that time. But one person I could see Eric Young working with, if he does come back to the ring, is one of his favorite opponents of all time, one of his close friends outside of the ring, Bobby Roode. He did say that he always, he wants to work with him.
They have a lot of history,
That's his favorite match of all time. His favorite feud of all time was with Bobby Roode.
Yep, they have a lot of history together in
Team Canada,
Impact and stuff like that. So I could definitely see that. Who knows when Bobby Roode's going to be coming back?
He just had his fusion surgery.
Yeah, so did Randy Orton. So did Randy Orton. So we don't know when. That'll be on a future episode, I'm sure.
Yeah,
who knows what's going on with Randy Orton? But
I will be shocked to see what they do with Eric Young, and I'm very interested. I think realistically, he's just going to be like backstage or like a trainer.
The thing is, I still feel like he's only in his 40s. I feel like he has a lot to offer the business. I hate seeing these guys that still have several years left of being able to be an active competitor, and they get wasted away backstage in the producer role. I mean, I just, I would like to see him in the ring. It's just, what kind of story? I want to see him get a
real chance.
What kind of story could you tell? You know what I mean? Like, I want it to make sense from a storyline aspect. What kind of story could they utilize Eric Young in?
I will tell you, like,
could it be like maybe AJ Styles and him, from their days in Impact?
I will say, like, when it comes to vignette work, Eric Young can tell a great story.
What if Eric Young joined
Judgment Day? Kurt Angle, man. Ooh, now that I could see happening. I could see that happening. But there's really not much, I feel like, to Eric Young, and we'll just have to see what they do.
I just don't want him to waste away in a producer role when he's still able to get in the ring and scrap around. You know what I mean? WWE has enough producers, and when you have too many chefs in the kitchen, it ends up being a big jumbled mess. I don't want to see it. I think he needs to be in the ring, but I want it to make sense from a storyline aspect.
I agree. So, our main event topic for this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, and we've been wanting to talk about this individual for quite a while now, and I think we've really waited for the right time.
We got to do it. We got to do it. We got to do it.
Well, I got to switch hands. So, our main event, we are going to be talking about the Tribal Chief himself, Roman
Solo
Reigns.
Sikoa. Just kidding.
Acknowledge me.
Because there's a lot of things going on with Roman Reigns news right now. We have, his future opponents for, speculations for the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, even WrestleMania. Doing, having both titles on the line, or even, defending one title one night, the other title another night. So we're going to talk about all that in the main event topic here, and it's going to be a very lengthy, long one, because we all have really good thoughts about Roman Reigns and what they should do. There's going to be a lot of fantasy booking.
Okay.
I think because me and Donnie took the reins on the Eric
Ben's
Young
turn.
topic, Ben, I think you should take the reins on this one for a little bit, man.
For what? For Roman Reigns?
Yeah, man. Give us all your thoughts, man.
All my thoughts. Okay, well, before we even hit record tonight, we definitely spoke quite a bit on Roman Reigns and what Roman Reigns used to be and what he meant to everybody else. And my God, man, and it's been almost 3 years since he came back. Since he came back and got the title from the Fiend.
I think he came back in 2018. He came out of remission, and then 2019 is when he became God mode.
Yeah, but he was still a joke until 2020 when he came back.
Yeah.
I think it was SummerSlam when
He came back.
and won the title.
Speared the shit out of the Fiend.
The Fiend or Braun Strowman, one or the other.
Yeah, and then fucking he didn't win it that night though, right? He just came
Yeah, he
back
did.
and
He won the
it that
title.
night. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Okay. So he came back, won the title, and again, he's been operating on God mode ever since. He's recruited the likes of Jimmy and Jey Uso. He's recruited Sami Zayn, Solo Sikoa. It's fucking nuts, man. And he's really built this huge foundation that really has an aura when he enters an arena, and you can feel it. We did at a Survivor Series.
You gotta be there to feel it.
To understand, what he is now compared to, then.
For those
it
of
really
us
does
that
feel like being in the presence of God per se.
For those of us that never got to witness it, you guys were actually there at
Yeah.
Survivor Series War Games. Explain to everybody everybody that's watching that haven't been able to experience it. What is it like, man, to be in the presence of Roman Reigns?
Weird.
the chills.
It's like an outer body experience, and you can't help but acknowledge him. If that's, it's like you can't take your eyes off of what is happening. Like you're watching his every move until that entrance is done. Like you're captivated by this one individual that's leading this troop in his troops in a battle. It's
The presentation,
the
the character is just on
the
a whole nother
atmosphere
level.
they build for him in the arena, and just it feels like Zeus just entered the chat. Like it's nuts, bro. Like it's fucking nuts. And
Ben's not talking about like Zeus from like the 80s.
no, I'm talking about Zeus the god. Like
We're talking
the
about
god
like the actual God, because like this Roman Reigns
is
on a
operating
whole
on that
nother
level.
I love how he was in the
God
cage
mode.
sitting down. He was the only one sitting in a chair. Like
And Solo was just right next to him, just
And half the crowd had their eyes on Roman sitting the whole time until he got up off that
fucking just
chair.
pissed as fuck the entire time. Loved it, man. But yeah, dude, he's been an absolute dominant force for the past 3 years. He hasn't been pinned. That's a big deal. He's been champion this entire fucking time. He's stacked champions many fucking times. He's held both for almost 2.5 years almost. That is incredible compared to where he was only 3 to 4 years ago.
it's fucking nuts.
You can't
man.
help but love him. You cannot help but respect him.
I
and
used to hate him
acknowledge
after
him.
the Shield.
Mhm.
I hated his
Same.
booking.
He was boring.
see,
as shit.
until the Performance Center.
I've always enjoyed Roman Reigns
He is a
from
dominant
certain
force now.
aspect or whatever.
Thunderdome.
Like even if you didn't like his entrance or his music or whatever, or like the entire presentation,
You can't help it.
I always feel like Roman Reigns has always been good in the ring. and that's where he's strived.
Mhm.
Regardless
Yes.
if you don't like his, the way he was booked or whatever, like the
He's
matches,
phenomenal
his
in
storylines.
the ring.
He's
And
always
that's
been
what
good in the
ruined
ring.
him, man. It was the booking from like after the
And his
Shield broke
mic
up.
work was garbage. Now it's
I
just
feel
like,
like-
dude, holy fuck.
I feel like people gained a whole lot of respect for him though when he came out, pretty much let everybody, even when he didn't necessarily need to, let everybody into like, getting to know him personal, and his struggles with leukemia and stuff like that. And like, that's where people, I feel like, started to respect him on
Absolutely.
not just the performers aspect, but like a real life. Like this guy, like we may hate his character, but you got to love this guy for
What?
the kind of strength
And
that
why,
he
and
has.
why do you think a lot of the universe and the maniacs out there really wanted him to be a heel? It wasn't the fact that they hated Joe. I believe that's his name, Joe.
Joe.
Joe
Technically,
Anoa'i.
They
it's like
did
it's
not
like
hate
technically it's
Joe.
like Lete or something like
They
that. Lete,
hated
Joe,
the
and
way that Roman Reigns was being booked.
Mhm.
He should have
No,
been a heel.
bro. Like I'm telling you this right now. Like the biggest difference I see in Roman in terms of his mic skills is they've allowed him to make it in such a way where it's him. It's him outside of WWE. That's how he speaks. He's not trying to speak like a straight up white person, like he's not pronouncing every fucking syllable. He's being him. He's not trying to exert anything. Like this is him, but on a different level.
He's got
And
Paul Heyman too by his side, and that's helping him even better.
again, he is killing it right now in every fucking aspect. And
Did you guys
he is everything great right now.
Did you guys
100%.
ever get an opportunity to watch some of his NXT run?
Yes.
Of course.
He wore those
was
like
great.
those tight little like black short shorts or whatever.
Speedos.
He
Trunks.
had the black trunks with like the
trunks.
red on them. I do remember
Fucking sick
that.
as hell. Dude, he was fucking great in NXT
Guys,
too.
I watched him before NXT. I watched him in FCW as
Florida
Leaky.
Championship.
Yeah, that's where he met Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, I believe.
Yep,
Mhm.
they had. I remember this one triple threat match.
That was
they
the original
had.
developmental
I
for
watched
WWE.
that match before they were the Shield. Which is
FCW
nuts.
FCW was NXT before NXT became.
That's what I'm saying. It was the original.
FCW is so good. I recommend people to go back on YouTube.
Bro,
and
it
watch
was
some
the
of that
developmental
stuff.
going into WWE.
They had some pretty good talent.
Everybody
So-
was fucking there, dude. Fucking Batista, Randy Orton, everybody was fucking there.
No, Batista and Orton,
Not
they
Batista.
were OVW.
No, fucking yes, OVW. That's what it was. Fuck. Sorry about that.
OVW is still happening in where Kentucky somewhere. So now that we sort of went over the history and went over our likes and dislikes of how Roman Reigns was booked, he's operating on a whole nother level, God mode. The tribal chief, the head of the table. Don't forget you gotta say Logan Paul is the table. Apparently,
Yes.
we gotta acknowledge. So
acknowledge.
this could be the last final months of Roman Reigns as champion. How would you
And
guys
as him
go?
as a full-time performer.
How would you guys go about booking the last couple months of
Ooh.
knowing that Roman Reigns
on.
could possibly, after WrestleMania,
What
ride off into the sunset for a couple of months?
Before
Couple
we get
of
into
months.
that,
It'll be
Danny,
like a year, bro.
before
He's
we
gonna
get
be
into
gone for a
that,
while.
Not if they're going to be booking to The Rock and him at WrestleMania
Hold
40
up.
because they're going to have to.
before we get into that, I think we should talk about the speculations that are going to happen
That's what I'm
with
saying.
the Rumble and Chamber. Then we can kind of get into our fantasy bookings.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right.
I want to talk about Sami Zayn first.
So, well, that's Elimination Chamber.
Oh, that's a little bit
I think
farther.
Kevin Owens
Kevin
should probably
Owens.
be first.
Yeah,
'cause
Kevin Owens
that's-
first.
That's the speculation for the Rumble.
Absolutely.
Last Saturday, a week ago today, actually,
Mhm.
Roman Reigns, the War Games match, Kevin Owens smacked the fuck out of him and busted his eardrum up. And people are speculating that it's going to lead to a Rumble match. Roman Reigns defending the titles against Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. That's definitely a match I could get behind. Kevin
Same.
Owens, bro. He's so good, bro.
He's fucking phenomenal.
Honestly, I could definitely, get over with that because they've already
Oh,
had
fucking
great
yeah.
matches prior to this.
But now there's
I mean,
now there's something for it
With
because now
Sami
this is
Zayn
on
in the
behalf of
storyline.
Sammy. This is on behalf of Sammy now too.
Yeah.
So it serves a bigger picture, man, because again, this coincides with the next person, Sami Zayn. He's throwing Sami Zayn in the middle of any storyline will get you gold. We already all know that. What he has done with the bloodline to elevate them even further and to rejuvenate the actual likeliness of the.
Are you guys
group
feeling
is
Uzi?
incredible. Absolutely, always.
Whenever we're
However-
filming this talk show, of course I'm feeling Uzi.
Of course, man.
you got it, bro.
He kills everything. However, this is more of an emotional storyline now because Sammy genuinely went out and did this for the bloodline.
Mhm.
But now that Kevin Owens is involved, and obviously, they go years back, they're best fucking friends, So putting that personal spin on such a big storyline is detrimental. So
Kevin Owens was,
there's going to be real emotions in that whole thing. And when this all comes to the fold at WrestleMania, it is going to be ridiculous when they fucking take home the gold because everything's going to come full circle for everybody.
Kevin Owens was Sami Zayn's best man at his wedding. If you guys saw, I don't think you guys watched SmackDown the night before the Survivor Series, but I did. Sammy was entering the bloodline locker room. Kevin Owens comes up, they talk.
I watched it
I saw
live.
that.
And
They showed
and
it.
I was hammered,
and
but I watched it.
And obviously, we saw him lying to Jey Uso. Jey Uso was listening in at the door, and it led to Survivor Series. We saw the segments between Jey Uso and Roman, and
Fantastic.
Roman wanting Sami Zayn in the locker room to talk to make sure that Sami Zayn was definitely on the line of the bloodline. And he how he could tell just by looking at Sami's eyes, whether he was his feelings for the bloodline were authentic.
Yeah.
And then it culminated to the match itself. We saw Sami Zayn give the kick to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens slouching on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn letting him fall. Jey Uso picking up the victory or whatever. And we finally got the embrace. We finally saw Jey Uso finally welcome Sami Zayn into the bloodline. And I feel like that added so much more to the story.
Yes, it did.
You know what I mean? It was
That's what I'm saying.
fantastic.
It's getting personal. They're stitching personal emotions into
Can
the
I
whole
add
thing.
something too? After Survivor Series, that segment on Raw, Kevin Owens, honestly, instead of going out and beating the crap out of him like, a lot of other booking decisions would happen, aka John Moxley trying to kill, Regal. I absolutely love the way they did it. Like Kevin Owens, they took a different approach.
I don't want
Kevin
to
Owens
fight
is
you
like, I'm
anymore.
done. Like I don't want to fight. I'm over this because
I
they've
don't
had
wanna
a
ride
feud that's
with
gone
you.
back for over 10 years now. Ring of Honor, El Generico, Kevin Steen. They had some great matches. And in this insane rivalry that continued on in WWE with NXT and even the main roster for a little bit.
Yeah,
And that's what I like. There's the history.
For a long time, bro, the bloodline storyline, nobody knew where they were gonna go with this. Like, how long could you keep it up? It was starting to get boring. People were starting to get sick of it. It's like it almost hit its ceiling. In comes Sami Zayn, man, and rejuvenates the entire fucking thing pretty much by himself, bro. Sami Zayn is a fucking star, bro. He can outside of pro wrestling, the dude is a fucking star.
Great human being too.
I would love to meet him, but just the fact that
Absolutely.
just his presence rejuvenized the entire storyline, the entire bloodline, like what it is, bro. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And all the segments are entertaining. There's seriousness, there's comedy, there's the cinematic moments, and it's really touching. And everybody in that group is doing their part fantastically.
Bro,
Awesome.
the segment on SmackDown several weeks ago, it was probably 2 months ago at this point, probably in October, when Roman Reigns and the Bloodline were in the ring, and Roman Reigns ordered Sami Zayn to take off that shirt. So the Usos, they ripped the shirt off his back or whatever. He thought the Bloodline was gonna, kick him out and beat his ass or whatever. And then he pulls out the honorary Uso shirt, bro. one of the most heart-wrenching and touching segments on SmackDown in years, bro.
We're gonna be talking about this moment for generations.
Absolutely. So now Kevin Owens is in the story. We're going to possibly be seeing Kevin Owens at the Rumble facing Roman. He's obviously not going to win. It's predictable, but it adds more to the story. I'm wondering where they go after that, because we have the Rumble, we have the Elimination Chamber, which, you know, we're going to be talking about momentarily here, and then we have the Royal WrestleMania. I've heard speculation that Roman is going to be wrestling on WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. And that's how they're going to divide the titles. Roman's finally going to get dethroned. I don't know how that's going to work, for the simple fact that, like, if it happens, cool. I'm fine with it. I would like to see it, whatever story they're trying to tell. I just don't want that to overshadow other people. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what they should do. In the Royal Rumble, if they want to make it make sense in a unique way, they could do something similar. They could do something similar to 2005 with Batista and Cena, but
Karrion Kross and Cody Rhodes.
But hold on, that's exactly what I said in the chat. But going back to 1994 Royal Rumble, when Lex Luger and Bret Hart were co-winners of the Royal Rumble, imagine doing something like that. Because I remember going into WrestleMania 10. They did, where it was Yokozuna versus Lex Luger because he won the coin toss, so he got to face Yoko first. And then the winner of that would have to go against Bret Hart in the main event for, the WWF title. Yeah. So imagine you had two winners of the Rumble, and then they make a decision, okay, let's say, because we all know Cody's probably going to win the Rumble. So you could have Cody do, night 1, go against Roman for the WWE title.
Yep.
And then night 2, you can have whoever you want go against, Roman, the second winner of the Rumble. Which, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I would love it to be Karrion Kross, but I think realistically, because there is speculation that The Rock actually might be coming back to the Rumble. Have Rock and Cody both win the Rumble.
How would they go about having
Rock
two
would
winners?
overshadow him. Rock would overshadow him in a heartbeat.
The Rock is at such a level now. He doesn't need to win the Rumble, bro. He calls Triple H and be like, "Hey, I want Roman." That match is fucking made tomorrow. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. But I'm just saying, if if they wanted him to wrestle at this Mania and he's open to wrestling at this one, and you have to make it work, they would have to find some way to do something.
The Rock wouldn't have to get prepared for shit because he's already in Black Adam shape. So
I think that my idea is gonna happen, and it's gonna be the most effective. Roman Reigns loses the title, and he's pissed off or whatever. Paul Heyman is out on the outside, shocked and like, oh my god, he got dethroned finally. And, he grabs a mic, cuts a promo. I'm still the tribal chief. Ain't nobody better than me. I'm still the head of my family. You hear The Rock come out, and that picks up the storyline for the following WrestleMania. And it gives them, even if they want to take time off, do it, maybe every 2 months they show up on TV, just like Rock did with John Cena. They have a year build for the following WrestleMania.
Honestly, that's exactly what I would want to happen. That's why in the
it's the most effective.
But that's why in the group chat I mentioned Karrion Kross and Cody, because it's two different guys.
I think it's definitely going to be Cody.
What I would want realistically, but with The Rock, that's exactly how I would want to book it, with having him just show up at Mania, get ready for Philadelphia. Not because we're going to be there probably. Just, it would
because
be better long term.
Everybody expected that to happen this past WrestleMania, remember? And then when the show went off, people were so upset. Oh my God, The Rock didn't show up. We thought that was going to happen. It's definitely going to be Cody because, Cody, he wants to cement his legacy along with, winning the prize that his dad was never able to accomplish. And that's a huge, huge part of the storyline that was happening. So I definitely think Cody Rhodes is definitely going to be facing Roman at WrestleMania. The only question is it going to be for one title or two titles? That's the big question here.
So there has been reports that WrestleMania, night 1 and 2, Roman could be defending, one title or the other title. So it's like one night Universal, the other night WWE Champion. So now, do you think that they're going to do that where, Roman fights Cody and then he fights somebody
I would have
else?
said, here's what I would have said. If it wasn't already, I guess, semi-planned for the Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to take the tag titles off the Usos, I would have said have Cody win one title and have Kevin Owens win the other, because Kevin Owens has already been a part of the story. But I don't think that can happen because we're possibly going to be seeing Sami and Kevin take the tag titles off the Usos.
That's going to happen.
Who else that has had any kind of feud or whatever over the last 3 years with Roman could it be? Could it be Seth Rollins?
Ooh.
I mean, we've seen it before.
I have the history.
I'm just sick of seeing him with a fucking world title and not somebody else. So
I'm just trying to think.
I'm gonna pass. Hard snore.
I mean, we haven't really
hard snore.
Cross.
Hard.
If we saw Cross, right? You got to think about somebody that has had
absolutely.
You got to think about somebody that has had some kind of history with Roman, who has been involved in the storyline. You know what I mean?
Hey, Cross has made it clear that he wants that championship. He even threatened the Usos when they were trying to question him.
The night he came back, he marked Roman.
Yeah, but we haven't really seen any kind of interaction between him and the Bloodline at all since.
But he still let us know that he wants that title. Remember, he was supposed to be in this fatal 4-way match for a shot at the title, and then Drew hit him with the car.
Yep.
Yeah, but if that were to happen, right? When does this storyline start between Cross and Roman to sort of set it up?
We will see. It's still very early.
I know it can happen realistically. I think
Money in the Bank.
Cody Rhodes will win the Rumble, and then at Elimination Chamber, they're probably going to do a chamber match. The winner of that chamber match gets to go against Roman for the other title. Because maybe Cody makes it clear that he doesn't want both titles. He wants the WWE title. Because that's the title his father never had. So then that leaves the Universal title, and you can have a number 1 contender match at the Chamber because, of course, there are speculations that Roman versus Sami will happen. So you won't have a WWE, you won't have that title match in the Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now on to the Chamber. If Sami Zayn and Roman doesn't happen, because it's all speculation. Nobody knows yet.
It's going to happen.
Hasn't even begun.
It's going to happen.
Be in Canada,
God forbid it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not saying Sami's not going to be there. But what if it's not Roman versus Sami? What if it's Sami versus somebody else or whatever? And
no, it's Sami and Roman.
You know what's going to happen?
Roman.
Because at the Rumble, when Roman beats Kevin, they're going to beat the crap out of him, the Bloodline, and then Sami Zayn is going to turn on the Bloodline at that moment because he's going to see Kevin Owens getting his ass whooped. Yeah. And Sami's going to stick up for him and then get his ass beat, and that leads to Elimination Chamber, Zayn versus Reigns.
Owens
I'm on fire now.
Yeah,
hitting
that's
home
what I'm
runs.
saying.
Boom.
Yep. So absolutely. That's what's going to happen.
Right now.
That is exactly what's going to happen. So we already got that covered. 100%.
And then we get a number 1 contender match, and then they'll do the title thing, night 1 and 2.
Hell yeah, boy.
Cody goes for the WWE title. Hopefully, Karrion Kross goes for the other title. They take them both off Roman Reigns, and then we get the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock, and they build for WrestleMania 40.
Oh my God, dude, that was. You need to clip that. You need to clip that.
This shit needs to go on TikTok, man. We're almost at 100
going
followers on TikTok, man. Follow us.
He just had his Howard Finkel moment.
That's right. They've been building this since 2015. They have been building this. This needs to happen. Do not have Rock versus Reigns at this Mania. Wait until we're there in Philadelphia with the thousands.
Yes.
Yep.
And the millions of viewers watching on pay-per-view.
Rock and Roman is so big, you don't need to have a title. Rock's been there and done that, because we know after WrestleMania he's going to be going away. He does not need to be for the title, man. It needs to be all about family.
Yes.
It needs to be one of those matches that is going to be a WrestleMania
establishing
iconic
who the man
moment.
of the house is.
The Rock versus Hulk Hogan did not need a title. Cena versus Rock, the first match that they had, did not need a title. Even the second one probably didn't need a title. This does not need a title because we're going to look back years from now and we're going to be like, wow, 2 generations going at it. That right there is a WrestleMania moment.
And I could see them both going 20. I could see them both going 25 minutes and tearing the fucking house down, bro.
It's a classic.
And The Rock, that's how he's going to retire.
Absolutely. That's going to be his final match. And that is...
We hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, that was actually a beautiful episode, gents.
And I want to know real quick though too. I want to know like what other wrestling like journalists out there think is going to happen. Because I think we really hit the nail on the head on what's going to happen.
Bro, that was beautiful. I think we just there's
Mania Rock shows up. Danny, that was a perfect take right there. Me with the 2 titles, night 1 and 2. That's going to happen, especially Rumble where Kevin Owens gets his ass whooped. Zayn tries to help him.
100%. It's going to be nuts.
We hit the nail on the head. Shit.
Fire.
It's going to be great.
Wow, and look at that. All 3 of us on the same page for once. 35 episodes later. Wow. Give us a round of applause. That's amazing.
Hey, gents, before we end this episode, we have 2 months away from our 1-year anniversary doing the show together, man. It's been phenomenal.
Yeah, man. It's been a pretty nuts ride. It's been pretty great so far.
Some of the best times I've had.
And 2023 is just about to be even better, so
Hey, man.
Ready.
Oh, yeah. We got a lot of things in store for you guys. We can't spoil anything.
2023 is about to be crazy.
We had a really good talk yesterday about like the future of the We Are Wrestling channel, and you guys are really going to be excited for what's in store.
It's going to be a bang in 2023 and beyond.
Absolutely, man. But I mean, that was a perfect ending, guys. That was
really was.
I can't think of one.
That was.
I can't think of another one.
It was a beautiful, organic, just nuanced bow for Christmas.
Right, it was our swan song, bro.
It was a beautiful ending.
That's right. And we're going to end it off like this because we never all agree at the end of an episode. So we're going to enjoy this moment for about a week until next week where we probably disagree on a bunch of shit. But let us know in the comment section below how you guys would actually book Roman Reigns, road to WrestleMania. Yeah. But if you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the We Are Wrestling Talk Show, make sure to smash that like button now. If you're not a We Are Wrestling Maniac yet already, recommend you to hit that subscribe button now, turning on the post notifications. The links are down in the description below. You can go follow all of our social medias and other YouTube pages, all that down below. In addition, if you want to support the We Are Wrestling channel, you can go on social media and follow us on TikTok, where we're posting clips daily, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. All the links down below. And of course, to all the We Are Wrestling maniacs out there worldwide, we are taking over. Peace.